My name is Charles Perry, and I'm the director of the Black Cowboy documentary. You tuning in to Young Black Equestrians.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am a young.
I am a young.
I'm a young.
I am.
And I am a young
Black.
A young black.
Young.
black.
A young black.
Black equestrian.
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 Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Thank you, Eddie G9999 for this amazing review. And don't forget, go leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and you can be featured in one of our next episodes. Welcome to another episode of Young Black Equestrians with your hosts, Aubriana Johnson
and Caitlin Gooch.
We are here today with Charles Perry, who is the director of the Black Cowboy documentary. So welcome to the show, Charles.
Thank you for having me.
So let's go ahead and get this started. Tell us where you are from, what you do, and how you got to be doing this amazing work that you're doing.
Yeah, the story, it depends. Like if I go on a date, it's a long story. So I remember how to shrink it down some.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, California. I went to college in Wyoming and then transferred over to Montana State. I went out there to pretty much get out of the hood, where I'm from. I always liked the outdoors, you never saw a lot of black people doing it, and so, I went to Montana so I can play ball and be outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the last part of that question? See, you can't go.
Just so the work you do now, the Black Cowboy documentary, how'd that come about? How'd you get into that from playing ball in Montana?
Well, it's all related, because this is where the seeds of what I'm doing started. I'm always been a big fan of history. It's a story to me. Who didn't like sitting on grandmother's lap, or at least the people who had the luxury of growing up with a grandmother like your real mother. I had the luxury, so I had a lot of stories told to me. Mm-hmm. And so, the art of storytelling is one of those things where, you like hearing it. And when I took history, I saw it as a story. Then you notice where there was no, black people, in history that's represented in a positive way. You have slavery, horrible, which they're trying to get off the books for some reason. Mm-hmm. And then you have civil rights, but really, and to give us a couple of people like George Washington Carver, inventor of peanut butter, that's great. But I want a cowboy. Mm-hmm. I want a warrior. I want somebody who picked up a gun during World War I or II and took the hill and saved everybody. Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted somebody who looked like me, because I know there was more to our history than just civil rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so when I went to college in Montana, I saw a black cowboy at a rodeo. I thought he was adopted. And I got good grades in my history classes or whatever, Mm-hmm. And so it didn't register to me. So naturally I think okay, I had my experiences with black cowboys on television, Magnificent Seven, the Denzel Washington one, kind of, cowboy, but that's an outlier.
Right.
That's an outlier, Yao Ming, Chinese basketball player, he's good. And there's a lot of hoopers in China, don't get me wrong, but he's an outlier. Mm-hmm. And so I just saw black cowboys as outliers too when you see them, and they make them that until you dig into the history a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how did you get into journalism and becoming this director?
I'm not a journalist. I'm not at all.
Well, I mean, telling the story. How did that transition happen?
I mean, I've always been a space cadet. Spacey, You know, like it's my strength and my weakness at the same time, because you will hear me go off on a tangent really quick because butterfly of an idea come up, they're pretty good, and I start looking the other way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm spacey and always been, and not like I wasn't paying attention. You just, other people words sparks other ideas. And that's why I like people who are smarter than me, and a smart black woman. You know, like I need somebody to challenge me to give me more ideas, and I want to do the same for her. And so like this is the way I think, And so like I know more about Black history. I know there was more, and then like I get ideas like, okay, who did what, and you start making sense. And then it start making sense that you know how we don't know our history. If you were never taught, then how would you know? And then you have your grandfather's stories, and that's all verbal stuff, and my grandmother's stories, don't get me wrong, I love them, but those are uniquely my stories and the other grandkids that she told. And it doesn't really been taken seriously, and so you need to back it up. And so when I did a documentary, I got a author, a really, really good author named Art Burden. He wrote about like 3-4 books on African American history, expansion of the West. I just knocked on his door. He just thought it was crazy because I had this crazy idea that I had to do. It's crazy, and I showed up to his doorstep, and it took him like 3 years to let me in, pretty much. And that's how I met Caitlin too. Like, Caitlin, sorry. I was near I was near you in North Carolina. I was like kind of in between places and staying with my friend in Asheville, North Carolina, and I was so close to you, so close. It's there. I'm like, and I didn't have a car. I was like, okay, how am I gonna get to this woman? Because I want to film you. And so it didn't work out, but it was important for me to show, people who are living a life right now, because it's just not made up. It just didn't happen this year. It's your father, it's your great grandfather, it's before him, and like, and these horse traditions that we have, I mean, it's been throughout the years. And so to meet a person like, Black women who just, not just, move to LA and can afford a house because they always want a pony. I'm like talking about like you grew up on a pony. I mean, your dad placed you on a pony type of situations is like a sight that I think people need to see.
Yeah. So you mentioned you were spacey, but you've been sticking with this project for 5 whole years.
Yeah, I'm spacey still within structure. Within structure. I mean, I'm spacey within the structure. So like Black Cowboys, okay, what about my Black women over here? And then what about the Black kids? And what about these? And and like but it's it's of a whole though, right?
Yeah, that sounds like us.
I was about to say that all the way.
We are the same way. Like we do 1,000 things, but they all have to do with horses.
Right? Yeah, all had to do with horses.
Yeah.
But like but to know the true story of us being Black history, to know the true story, you need to turn over every rock.
Yeah.
You can't just like focus on Martin Luther King.
Oh, I was gonna say that earlier.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I want to know his janitor, what his story is and how he got there. And that's the base. That's the base of everything. And you find out that's the base of our country. Who do you think did all the dirty work?
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
No. But it's not told. And when you Google Lazy Town, like and watch the Bugs Bunny cartoon when it is and to depict Black people in a Black town being lazy. During the same time, Black Wall Street was thriving.
Yeah.
And we are capable. I mean, as human beings, we are capable. It's not like, we're better than anybody else as being Black. I'm not saying that, but like, I'm assuming that if you, I mean, this is a pure analogy. If you dropped off 1,000 Norwegians in the middle of Africa, you know what's going to happen? They're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. Dump off, like, give Black slaves, the people who built the country freedom to do what they want, guess what they did? They figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, guess who did all the buildings? Oh, black. Oh, guess who did all the, who did especially who did the sewage? Who did all that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's doing it now? You know, and so like I see all these stories, and now I get to go back in time, and the people who told me what did Black people do for the United States, those same people, in my mind, I'm correcting them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And in an odd way, that's the thing that drives me. Just that little moment that happened a long time ago when somebody told me what did Black people do in our history.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like I'm feel a little bit satisfied now. And so this is why it's taken 5 years to do all this, because it's not just you know, one off or like, you know, just a little tiny corner. No, I have all parts. I even went to Germany,
Oh, wow.
you know, and teaching people about, you know, Black history and like where we're from and what we're doing, you know, and the difference between, you know, suffrage. There's differences between like suffrage, you know, don't get me wrong, like other people suffer too,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of suffrage, like you know, Israel and you know, the Uyghurs up in China, you know, they suffer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the different types, you know, but different degrees to it, but like ours haven't really been acknowledged,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you know, to like, and right now during this time, like, is this all coming out?
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that like, I feel like amazing that like this little tiny documentary with no money, start off with $0, really. You know, I had to save money to like go out to Emogi on my own, you know, so I can like, you know, shoot first and then raise money, you know,
Right.
because
Right.
someone's not going to take me seriously. I already know that.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, you know, when you start, you know, accomplishing some things, now you got to watch out for the sharks. It's crazy, you know.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. We've experienced a similar, you know, we're not traveling all over the world just yet, but we've experienced a similar kind of series of events as far as, you know, having to go out there and do the work before getting any kind of attention or, you know, help. And then now people are like,
No, I'm going to come down. Like I have a Sprinter van now.
mm-hmm,
You know, I have a Sprinter van. Like I have everything I need in the van.
Mm-hmm.
Every place to sleep. You know, I mean, I stay in an apartment, but then I hop in a van and load everything up there. I'm coming down to North Carolina.
yeah, heck.
All I need is some electrical, and use your bathroom. Like,
That is perfectly fine. We can make that happen.
yeah, and I'm good. I'm good. I'm like camper too, so I want to be outside actually. You know, I'm in the
Yeah.
hammock in the North Carolina sun, our stars or whatever I'm trying to say.
We have some amazing stars out here.
But no, but I mean, this is why I love it. I love what you guys are doing. I love it. You know, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I want to do my part to you know, push us along, because our content needs to be shared in the correct way.
Yes, in the correct way. That is very, very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So how is this documentary kind of affected your life, your personal life, your,
Man,
you know, just everything?
where to start? I didn't know what I signed up for. Really, I didn't. But I'm obsessive. You know, I get obsessed. You know, I get passionate about, you know, if you ever go to my Instagram, you will see the things I'm passionate about. It was basketball, it was snowboarding, and it was filmmaking. I mean, that's my newest one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basketball, I took it the farthest I could. Snowboarding, believe it or not, came from Black people don't do that. I was like, oh, this Black man does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and so I learned how to snowboard and be really good at it. You know, and now filmmaking, and so I don't stop until it's over.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm living here in Tulsa. You know, I'm not going to stop. And not only that is, if you make it about other people, right? If I make it about, coming out here to have an impact, and coming out here to to see the differences that they don't see, and sometimes you're too close to home, and then I'm living out of it. And so how about if I go get some, Hollywood money, or some, I've not been calling Hollywood money, so you go ahead and delete that part, but like get some like fundraising money, like from crowdfunding and like selling t-shirts and hustling and all my back pocket or whatever, and bring that from the outside back into the community here, then like I feel like I'm doing my part.
Yeah.
And I satisfy what I want to do. And so if I feel like if I make it about the others, then I'm satisfied either way, because I'm going to make sure I take my commission from that, but just enough to keep me going. It was fair.
Yeah.
And so like, how can I do that with over here? It's in my best interest for you to succeed. I mean, we're on the same mission.
Yeah, totally.
It is a
Am I
great
talking
thing
too much?
to recognize that. Like
No, this is a podcast. You're supposed to talk.
I'm talking too much. Like, yeah. I mean, I wanna put you-
We're just soaking it in. Soaking it in.
right, because it's nice to have someone who thinks, the same way and can say, hey, we are working towards the same mission. I'm not in competition with you. I'm here to help you move forward, and we're here to help you move forward.
yeah, that's the whole gist of it. I mean, are we in it as Black people for ourselves? And we are. We need to take a second look at ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the same privileges as other people. We just don't. And I mean, I see it. I'm actually understand it. I mean, because inadvertently, I lived in both areas. Like I lived in Montana, right, middle of nowhere, Montana. Dated a farmer's daughter. I hardworking, stay humble. Man, Montana people love you, no matter who you are. They just like you.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. But then you get in these conversations where it's the same. Being a cowboy from let's say a privileged cowboy, if you want to call it that, or a Black cowboy, it's the same to a point, because after that point you become Black. But to that point, as long as you hit that point, if you don't go past it, then you can have good relationships.
Yeah.
If you don't go past that point. But once you start going past, people start getting uncomfortable. And I always wondered why that was, like why my friends over here, get a little bit uncomfortable, but you can see some cultural things that are the same, like the Black church. I go to a Black church here in Oklahoma in Preston, with the family called the Bagby family. They have the grandmother had about 12 kids. My grandmother had about 12 kids. Right? My grandmother is a matriarch of the church and played the piano and is, matriarch. It's the same thing. I honestly go to the church and I come out and I realize, oh, that's right, I'm in Oklahoma, I'm not in Watts.
Right.
It would smell the same inside, And so you figure out, things across the country is stay constant with certain things, within cultures. And I don't know how many people go to church in the middle of nowhere Watts, if this is middle of nowhere Watts, in the middle of nowhere Oklahoma, and have the same experiences and see the same similarities, and do the same thing in from, let's say Palos Verdes, California to Montana. You see similarities there. So.
Right. What is your favorite part of this entire documentary process?
Connections. The connections I make. Even though I don't know you, and Miss Gooch. Oh, I'm sorry. What's your new name?
Salam.
Excuse me?
Salam.
Salam, Miss Salam. Even though we never met, I feel like I know you.
Yeah.
And I feel like, connected to you. You know, even though I don't know you, I never met you. I'm like, I got to put two together. You know, when I see you in real life, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, I put sense to it, but I got a good feeling it's the same as my imagination. You know, and you know, what keeps me going is like the relationship building, and plus, you know, I had this thought in my mind and I can't stop. And then the third thing, and the most important, is I'm under contract. I got a contract, and I need to get this thing out. You know, they're not getting the money back at all. So I better get this thing going before I ruin my credit.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Important for sure.
Yeah.
So
Breaking contracts.
what'd you say?
I said no breaking contracts.
No breaking contracts, but you know, and I mean, some of the contracts, I mean, this is what important for filmmakers and you too, moving forward. Get it on paper, contract before you even start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, contract before you start. Believe me, you know, save some headaches. You know, save a lot of headaches. Contract, you know, get it on paper. You know, and these are some of the weaknesses as, you know, creatives, and especially African American creatives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're gonna play in this world, then we gotta, you know, this film world and this creative world, we gotta live by the rules. Unless you're gonna get in trouble. So don't let me go off on tangents.
I mean, we're learning. Shoot,
Right.
we are learning. We are entering into this space that we didn't even know this was going to lead into. This podcasting space, it's so vast and it's constantly changing.
We should be talking about horses though, all right? Like,
I mean, I know, but we are learning, okay? If you're helping us, it doesn't matter how. But you're right. We are talking about you here. So, when can we expect this documentary?
You want to well, you recorded. I was going to show you a teaser.
Can you share your screen? Like, we can make this.
But you got that record button on there.
Okay. Well, you can just
wait. After the end of it,
at the end. Yes. 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 At the end.
But it's going to be in an edit screen though, just to let you know.
That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. All right. So we'll just move on to the.
I thought you were about to say, so we're going to end the podcast.
No. We'll just move on to the next question. So,
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Have you rode a horse since doing this, or even before?
My brother has. Yes, for a second.
A second. Like,
so no.
Well, you know, I mean, I want to ride a horse. I really do, but I'm like an all-in guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so like, I can't have fun when I want to make this film, you know, like, I know that sounds kind of lame or whatever you want to say, but like, when I'm at work,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I want to film everybody else, you know, riding horses and having fun. I put my brother on a horse and I take pictures of him, and like, even though I want to do it, but like, this is more important, you know.
You should have to do it when you come to North Carolina.
I was about to say, so basically once it comes out, like, we getting you on High Ho Silver and getting you up out of here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
You look a little nervous.
I look nervous?
Yeah. Like, uh-oh.
Well, I'm trying to find the right light. That's what it is. I'm trying to find the right light here.
There you go. So, have you even thought about what happens post documentary?
Yeah. I'm you know, I have a good transition work that I'm working on out here, you know.
Good.
You know, I developed a like reality TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, development and that, you know, but then I make sure that, you know, I get the proper paperwork in place, contracts before I get deeper into it. you know, and the whole point is like, it can totally work, you know, it can totally work, you know, this crazy, like, you know, dream that I had of like becoming a film director and like leaving a job working in a hotel and leaving a condo, leaving a woman, you know, leaving like my apartment, leaving my city, you know, to hit the road to do this, you know, and to see it like so close and like on the horizon. It's like, it's refreshing, it's motivating now, you know. And so I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do next. And so all and what the side effect, I didn't know this was going to happen, that and like almost became a like an expert type of person behind the scenes. I know who's now. I know where that kind of cowboy, this kind of cowboy. I know about the gangster cowboys. I know about the whatever cowboys. I mean, I know who's who now.
Mhm.
Before I was just like amazed at everybody. You know, at first I'm like, wait a minute, you just have a hat, you know, you know, and I figure it out. You know, people who like talking to me and then they jibing me a little bit. You know, at first, you know, you don't know if you don't know. You know,
Right.
Mm-hmm. The true
Yeah.
cowboys versus the
Yeah.
I got my boots off Amazon.
but I mean, but I've been on both sides of it, and like, you know, I've seen cowboys in Montana that, you know, have a little get up or whatever, and they get inside their little tiny Prius. I was like, wait a minute, bro, cowboys don't never ride on the Prius, you know, like, is that possible? No, it's not. You got a truck, or you don't? Are you walking?
Right.
No, you walking. I got a Jeep.
Yeah. But you know, I know, but you know what I mean, like a real, like, you know, middle of nowhere Montana cowboy, you know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
Oklahoma cowboy, you don't see, you know, the bull riders rolling up in the Prius, unless, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a new school out there, the millennial cowboy, maybe they will.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes. It is
I don't
so
know.
fun. It's so funny because we just recorded an episode for the podcast, literally like right before. And we were talking about all like the sheer possibility of things, you know, literally anything that you put your mind to and put the work behind, like you can make it happen. And I think it's so funny that we talked to you immediately after that, because you're a testament to making that happen.
Well, it's still not over with yet, though. I'm telling you that much.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you can't let off the gas, you know, and you can't, you know, as soon as you start relaxing, you know, it's over when it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's tough. It's been a really tough road.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could do a bullet points, and tell me if you think it's real or false.
Okay.
All right, bullet points. Okay, things that happen. Um, I lived in a cabin in the middle of nowhere, Montana, for a winter, and worked at a bar called the White Front.
That sounds plausible. It sounds like it's true.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you got me. All right. Well, maybe I gave too many details. I'm like, I'm like thinking, like, I'm a detailed person, so I'm like, I'm gonna tell you the scenes, and like, oh, it was a sunny day. It's like too many details for him being lying, so I'm like, whatever. Okay.
What's next?
Had a fellow filmmaker leave me in Kansas.
Oh my gosh.
That's got to be true. What happened?
I don't know. I want to say true
True.
too.
It's totally true. It's totally true. And then that's the background of the story, is that, like, you know, my personal story, you know, has been it is, I can't understand why I'm smiling right now, because I feel like I got through it,
Yeah.
you know. And the only way to, like, you know, prove people wrong. They're like, who you are is finish what you start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've been told like on things like, hey, these are from people that I knew that they thought I was like going around the country hustling people for money.
Mm.
I'm like, no, actually it's opposite. I dug ditches and I dug ditches before construction. I shoveled snow for money. I deliver ice in Chicago in the wintertime. Yeah, who knew people need ice in the wintertime, right? I house sat, I drove people places, I did whatever it took to get me to the next spot. And that's not including like, my bread and butter is weddings and corporate videos that I always go back to and make money there to bring back, to continue making this film.
Mm-hmm.
And then lo and behold, like, I had to fly to Montana to go get some camera equipment that, the horrible production stories that you figure out that, people take things, and so I had somebody take my hard drives and my camera and one of my cameras and wouldn't give it back. And so I had to fly to the middle of nowhere, Montana to go break down this door. I mean, it sounds like I'm lying right now. I'm glad I'm a filmmaker because guess what? I got cell phone footage of it. and, and like these weird things that happen to you like that going to deter you. And then some people just want to, don't have the same vision, and they take it in their own hands to try to slow you down or something, but that's the whole part of it. Then you find out like, running the podcast, like what you do now, to make it to bigger places, and not like you want to be a big shot. You just want to do the best you can within your capabilities.
We also want to be a big shot.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You want to be a big shot too. Yeah, right?
That's what we're talking about. TV show is coming.
But you got to accept this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Accept it right now. Like what quest, like Lord of the Rings, right? You're familiar with that, right? What quest in like movie type quests like that people go on that you entertain with if everything is just nice and fluffy?
Easy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't watch it. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, somebody going to deceive you. Somebody going to lie to you. Somebody going to steal from you. You go meet some friends. Somebody going to make a comeback. Like this is the whole part of, those, shows are really based in reality if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like really I lived last 5 years. That's been my own journey.
Mm-hmm.
And
I feel like we need a documentary about making the documentary.
Right.
Oh, a good podcast producers that can do something like that.
Are you talking about it?
Oh yeah.
Like just chime in and check in. That way.
Well, you find out, especially in this industry, it's like who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out it's in your best interest to help people along the way, because those other people who come back to you are that you're going to need a part of your team in the future.
Yeah, because we definitely want to shoot videos.
I mean, okay, so you want to shoot video, and like it's okay for other people to do other people's stories, right? And black stories has been told mainly, is controlled with a lot of whites, especially back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's a different story, but I go to the Mogi, all black rodeo, and people got different reasons for being there for media, and this year, I think the BBC or somebody was there,
Interesting.
taking pictures, and like the news was there, and now it's picking up steam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between the BBC or this person that is not black, which is nothing wrong. No, and so when you edit this thing, there's nothing wrong with being white and coming to a black rodeo. There's nothing wrong with that, or taking pictures, or even doing a movie or a spot or whatever you want to do.
Right.
But it's like, let's take our black film crew and let's go to Ireland and talk about the potato famine. like of what your grandmother lived in, or what it told you, you know the story. And let me go out there and let me have my own opinion about like how your people came to this country.
Right.
It'd be a totally different story.
Right.
And that's why we don't know about Black Cowboys. Because when the people who are vision and what the West was like, and then include Black people for them.
Yeah. Stories of us by us.
Yeah. I mean, and even with the Black Cowboy documentary, like I have white people in it. I have white cowboys in it but it's like through the eyes of an African American. Which have white, Black, Mexican, Chinese. I mean, our eyes have everything. So why not white people being in Black movies? Because we see white people in everyday life.
Right.
But we don't. But they don't know what kind of we get our jokes.
Yeah.
The cultural joke.
Definitely.
It's a cultural difference. It's a cultural difference, and being able to share that with someone who understands, it's just a different kind of connection versus someone who's trying to explain what's happening.
Yeah, and it's supporting the culture that people don't know about, that America doesn't know about, like the mainstream, or I don't want to get away from political terms, but like the country what they don't know about as a whole. They get what information they get about African Americans is not always the best.
Right.
It's not always the best, and it's not always like, it's like people struggle and things happen, and like gun violence and all that other stuff is like rampant in places like Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit. I mean, yeah, that's a fact. But why? If you honestly ask yourself why about 5 times, you figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
But how about the other stories that are not told? Like, and more than the Rudy stories. I'm talking about like this our culture period. Like, what, we helped build this country. We did the dirty work. The jobs that were like, you can hazard pay jobs. The hazard pay jobs, like, oh, I'm not doing that. I have money. I'm not doing that. You could do that.
Yeah.
Those jobs, guess who was doing those jobs?
Yeah. Some people didn't have an option.
Yeah, didn't have an option. Just go do it. Go send, Tom over there doing it, and that's not his real name. It was a black man was doing that. Black women was doing those things. I mean, it was crazy. Even, you find out these things out, and it's like, why? I feel like if you would truly be open to like the true history of our country, then we will be in a totally different place.
Oh yeah.
We really would.
Many people are not open to that reality just because it shows fault.
But what better symbol, to bridge that gap than the cowboy?
Yeah.
Because a cowboy is a cowboy is a cowboy. It is, until you hit that point. Then it becomes different.
Yeah.
But as a cowboy is a cowboy is a cowboy.
I had a conversation with someone online, and he's releasing some t-shirts, something like that, and he made a statement saying that this brand was not, I guess it was inspired by Black Cowboys, but it was not supposed to, I think he meant his brand was not only for Black people, but he was saying that we should just ignore Black when it comes to cowboys, that's why I was having a conversation with him about it, saying that the term cowboy was coined for Black horsemen, because you didn't call white people boy way back in the day.
Yeah. So close your eyes right now, and for like a lot, let's say that you Mr. New York, in the middle of New York and LA,
Mhm.
only places you've been in the city, never been outside of it. People in LA, they think, and New York too. If you drive like 50 miles outside of LA or New York, they think that's the country. It's funny.
Mhm.
They think that's the country, those places, right? And so like, um, I kid you not, I lived in Upland for a second when I was back in LA and had a place there. And maybe it was like 40 miles outside of town, and people are like, you live where? Upland, where's that? 40 miles? Oh, that's such a long way. Um, but getting back to your question, um, what was it? What was your question?
It was just basically a conversation on how when we represent ourselves or that it's okay to have things for Black people.
Yeah, yeah.
In this guy's, I guess, defense, what he was saying was that this wasn't for Black people, it was just inspired for Black people, or it wasn't just for Black people. And so I was just trying to tell him, like, it's okay if you want to have
Yeah.
this line that represents Black cowboys, like, that's fine. You don't have to have like a happy medium that makes people that are not Black happy.
No, yeah. I mean, I found my point, and the point I was trying to say is that, like we touched on earlier, if you don't know about cowboys, and your imagination is just the Marlboro Man. If I tell you I was going to a rodeo, the first thing you think of is all, white people.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about like a horseman or a horsewoman, um, you think of, white people again. You're talking about horsemen that was in Africa. You know, do you know about our horse culture in Africa?
I do not personally, but we've been learning. We have some friends that are in Africa and in France that have been educating us on the horse culture there.
And so now, like, knowledge of history, right? And you figure that Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492,
Mm-hmm.
right? Before 700 years before that, you know, um, Spain and parts of up in Europe and other countries that I'm not going to go in detail with because I don't know 100% for sure, but definitely Spain, right? And other parts that stretches out like the Moors rule, which was Black Africans,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they ruled for 700 years. 700. We know about the Christopher Columbus part, but why not go into what they were doing and who were these people
Yeah.
that ruled over here? And then you find out like all these, and then you go in deeper and then you find about the Mao, the Gao Empire, in Africa, and then you think about like what would it take for people, to have your imagination go a little bit deeper. Like, what does it take for people to rule a place for 700 years? All right, it takes horses.
Yeah. Some form of transportation.
It takes
Right.
boats, like the big boats that you see that is synonymous with England,
Mm-hmm.
and with the cannons in France and Napoleon. I mean, I don't know this for sure. I don't know. I haven't seen one, but I'm assuming if the Moors ruled over islands, that they have boats. I can assume that one.
Yeah, I think that's a good assumption.
Yeah, and it probably looked the same as all the other boats in that time period.
Yeah.
And so why do we don't have those images in our head? When you see now, all of a sudden now, I want to make that image myself. I want to see a 1491, right before Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. I want to see a Black crew battling wherever they did back then.
Mm-hmm.
Because Spain got to get their freedom some kind of way. So did they have boats on those battles? And one is Black crew? I mean, I don't know, but that my imagination goes there. And I wanted to get that depicted in movies and films and books
Yes.
and talked about
Yes. Yes.
and podcasts at the very beautiful equestrian podcast located in North Carolina.
Good. That was a good one.
Right.
So, what advice do you have or could you give for people who are aspiring filmmakers?
You gotta figure out what you want. You know, I mean, you gotta know what you want. That's with anything. It's not just filmmaking. You know, I feel like successful people, like really people who do the extraordinary, think about two things. You know, they think about what they want and how they're going to get it. You know, I mean, what else to think about?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier too.
Yeah, I mean, that's within reason, of course. You know. But
Yeah.
how's the podcast going? It's going all right.
It is. It is. We are entering our fourth, technically, season, but we think that this is going to be our last season and we're not going to have any breaks because there's so many people that we need to talk to. So we're just going to keep producing episodes and scheduling them out and holding these conversations with people.
Well, I should come down. I'm serious about coming down to North Carolina.
Are we serious too?
All right, and so like right now, I'm a floater right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm staying at Airbnbs and apartments. You know, that I find online, and so I can do this anywhere. And I forgot about this Corona stuff. It's crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It really is.
How is that? Has that impacted the documentary in any way?
No. You got to roll with it. Like, I had to roll with it. I mean, I had a decision to make. You know, I had a decision. This is like my life dream, doing what I'm doing now, and sometimes you got to roll the dice.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to roll it. And so, you know, at first, you know, I was, you know, went into a rodeo looking like I'm stepping on Mars. You know, all my PPE.
And nobody else has any on.
No, like, you know, but, you know, we gotta make moves sometime, you know, and we don't know about the virus, how it's going to affect us, but we know that it affects the Black community more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more. I mean, I'm assuming we're gonna be the first with herd immunity.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah.
We got to have it. Let us.
We gotta have it. But you know, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to say this while we're recording. As another conversation, but like, no, there's a lot of strengths that you know, people developed, you know, over time.
Mm-hmm. Like the movie Get Out.
What about that movie?
Like how they were taking the Black bodies because they were so strong.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, it's this book called Taboo, and it talked about the differences of different people from different regions and how to play a parts in sports. You know, it posed a question like, you know, why do you see, you know, like 100-yard dash, or why do you see, you know, certain things, and yeah, it's genetically it's fun to see how that works, you know, because Ethiopians, you know, they can't. I mean, they're like, or maybe people from Kenya, you know, the runners, you know, they come from certain regions, not really pulling out like football players, right?
Right.
You know, so I don't know. I'm just almost time to go now. Huh? I'm talking about nothing.
Hey, it's something. It all relates. It's a snowball effect. It's okay.
And is this video going to be online too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. See, that's why I should have been obsessing about the light more.
It's okay. It's okay.
How are you? How you married now? Huh? How do you feel?
Doesn't feel any different. I mean, I don't know.
Wait, how long did you know him? You just met him. I mean, you just met him before you, like a year before, because I knew you before. How long you guys been together for?
2 years.
2 years, okay. And so I know of you for like 3.
Yeah. So yep, it just happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've just been busy with all the horse life stuff, and he's supportive of it. So, and then the pandemic. So it's not like, we're out here traveling and honeymooning and taking family vacations. I imagine it would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have I have all these ideas, like, a quality, like, Black Cowboy film,
Mhm.
but we're not calling it, like your friend said, we're not going to call it, like, we don't need to call it black, we're going to start mainstreaming it.
Yeah.
But first, in the initial push, I think you have to apply, like, this is a Black Cowboy
Mm-hmm.
documentary instead of a cowboy documentary.
Mm-hmm.
People will get freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you expecting water and you get beer.
Yeah, that would be
spit it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You want beer, but you get water, you spit it out. And like, and so you expecting to see a cowboy film and you see these black cowboys, and some people are just not gonna gonna explode a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, so I got an idea now. So at the very end, it goes from the black cowboy and then fade out black, and it's the cowboy. Oh, see.
Yeah, write that down.
Because that's what it's about right there. At the end of the day, we're all cowboys, we're all human, we're all American.
It's like
It's
us trying to get people used to just saying equestrian. Like equestrian is kind of associated with like a white thing, and it's like equestrian just means someone who rides a horse.
Yeah.
So everybody who rides a horse falls under that. You
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But people just don't understand the complexity of our history. With for example, there's a horse dentist here in Oklahoma, not that far away from here, and she's a black woman, and I'm gonna go talk to her and see her, and she doesn't think her life is special, but like it just shows me that we're in every facet of this country. Even a horse dentist.
Yes.
How many horse dentists do you know?
One.
Yeah.
We interviewed one.
Well, one black one. Yeah. We
one black
one
one
for the podcast.
Yeah. But like that proves my point that we always been, horse people.
Yeah. And it's so funny you say that about them thinking their life is not interesting, because when we reach out to people, we're like, oh my gosh, we would love to have you on the podcast. And that is the response sometimes, like, what have I done? Like, what do you want me to talk about? It's like, I clearly found you because you did something I thought was spectacular, sis. Like, you are amazing and you should tell me about it.
I mean, it's a hard pill to swallow. Like, I'm pretty introverted. I had to force myself to put myself out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you look at my beginning stuff, you never see me at all,
Mm-hmm.
And now I know that as a director, I have to put myself, I need to put my face out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I begrudgingly, I barely want to,
Mm-hmm.
but I do anyway.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for chatting with us today.
Wait, I got one story to tell you though.
What?
One story, one Sundance story.
Okay.
All right. So I'm at Sundance, right? Just not knowing anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get invited to the Jewish Shabbat dinner. Or like Sundance is all about the parties, right?
Right.
And so you get invited to the parties, and that's where you go. That's where you make connections, but you got to get invited, right? And I got invited to the Jewish Shabbat dinner. And so I go there and make an appearance and with my friends, and they were treating me so nicely. It was amazing how how courtesy the word towards me, but like at the time, like nobody knew who I was. I'm out there, like, living on a budget. I ain't supposed to be out there, But once you make it inside the parties, you're not worried about money. But anyway, so free drinks, free everything. I'm like, oh man, I actually saving money right now. So you know, and so like I'm there, right? And people like walking by and looking at me. I'm like trying to figure out like what's going on. And get back to LA. And wait, one more. And the Jewish rabbi, right, came up and like shook his hand, and his camera came up and took a picture of us together. Right, he made sure he pulled me in. I'm like, all right, that was kind of weird, but I take it. So a week goes by. I'm back in LA, and I look at the newspaper, the LA Weekly, which is it's not the LA Times, the LA Weekly, and it has a picture of me because I have this snowboarding hat that I always wear, and this rabbi. I said, "Oh, remember that picture that guy took, right?" I'm like, "Oh, that was nice," And I read the caption, and it said, "Rabbi whomever and actor Idris shaking hands." I'm like, "Oh, that's why it was so nice to me."
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I look like Idris except for the salt and pepper beard, but like
That's that whole oh, we're black, we look alike. All of us look alike. Because people say that Aubriana and I, they're like, we can't tell y'all apart. Our hair is totally different. Our face are shaped different. We look totally different.
I'm short, she's tall.
Yes, but they're like they get us mixed up. How? You're not even trying.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So let me see if I can pull up this thing for you.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. We gotta end the episode.
Hold on. Let's end the episode. Just hold on. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Charles, for coming on today and sharing your story about the Black Cowboy documentary. Can you tell people where they can get more information about it, or, prepare for the grand release sometime this year, where they can find you?
Yeah, and somewhere in this podcast, if you can include that, I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank you two ladies for having me on your podcast. And then I want to thank my state of Montana, that Montana Film Office actually was granted $20,000 to keep filming. And so that was nice, and I got that, and I used it so I can tell African American stories that located within Montana. So I want to thank the Montana Film Office, along with J.R. Redmond, Damon Smithley, thank you, Allison, Bill, and out here in Oklahoma, the LeBlancs, I want to thank the LeBlancs and Kenneth LeBlanc especially, the Oklahoma Eagle, Black newspaper, been going on for 100 years, Black Wall Street, and my mama. I know I missed somebody, but I just want to put that in there.
Of course. All right. Tell us where we can find more information about the documentary, where people can connect. Yeah, let's support you.
Yeah, it's still some of the information is still in the works, but you can go to theblackcowboy.com. Facebook is the best information you get, is the Black Cowboy. And then we have a unique photo page there. And one thing I am working on now, ladies, I'm working on this website called Black Rodeo Live. And that's blackrodeolive.com. And the mission of that documentary is to put different African American organization that deals with horses or rodeos onto one central platform, and so people could know where to go, where to go seek out these events, because you don't know how would you get there, and not only that, like I have a donation page, I do a feature story, and then when you hit the donation button on this website, it goes directly to them. Mm-hmm. And so all the other stuff will be worked out, but we need to find ways to raise money into these organizations in the African American community that still need to exist.
Yeah, we have a lot of the same thought processes.
Right.
Well, all right. Well, thank you so much, Charles, for joining us for this episode today. And we'll see you guys next week.
All right. No, thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Head over to our Facebook or Instagram pages and let us know what you thought about that episode. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and have the opportunity to be featured in our next episode. See you next week.